everybody, welcome to a Moment of Clarity. I want to bring to you how Twitter is rigging their searches against Tulsi Gabbard. Many of you know that Tulsi, along with Bernie Sanders, have been, forced out in many different ways. It's worse for Tulsi Gabbard because she doesn't have quite the machine going that Bernie Sanders has, but Tulsi Gabbard has been, you probably know about the Google thing, that after each of the debates, she's been the most searched candidate out of any of them in the debates. And by the way, I'll get to the deeper meaning of this in a moment. I don't want you to think this is just a video about little thing that happened with Tulsi Gabbard. It's more important than that. But after each of the debates, she was the most searched candidate. So what did Google do? They made sure and cut off all of her advertising. So they cut off her advertising right as everyone was searching for her. They made sure people could not see a little ad that said, hey, check out Tulsi's campaign, go to the website, or whatever it said. So they cut off ads to her. She's now suing them for doing that. Of course, they're claiming some bullshit, but really it's an ongoing attack against her and her campaign because she stands up against the military-industrial complex, and that has pissed off lots of people. You can't stand up against the military-industrial complex, or you are fucking dead to our system. Because we've undergone really a soft coup to the military-industrial complex, and they don't like it when our Congress people get all uppity and think that they're allowed to say anything about our endless war and endless militarism and endless death and destruction we create around the world. They don't like that. So they have a whole system in place to make sure no one gets to say that stuff. But here's what happened. This is crazy with Twitter, and the person who found this out is Patrick Henningsen, and you can check him out. He has a website called 21st Century Wire. You can check him out. But I think he's the one that discovered this. Basically, on Twitter, and it's not happening anymore, but it happened for several days. If you searched Tulsi's name, so you're curious about Tulsi Gabbard, you type in Tulsi Gabbard in the search bar. Now, when you type in most anybody who's the subject of news articles, they show you news articles about that person. If you type in Kamala Harris, they're going to be like, oh, Kamala Harris says, I'm a corporate shill. She didn't actually say that out loud, but it's there. You can tell. So you type in, for the past few days, you type in Tulsi Gabbard, what they would show you as the top article. So boom, right in your face. It was former KKK leader David Duke endorsed Tulsi Gabbard. Now, here's the thing. That was an attack piece written back in February or January of this year, months ago. For everybody else, when you search on Twitter, they would show you a current news article. Here's what's going on with that person right now. But with Tulsi Gabbard, they were afraid that you'd get something positive. You'd learn what she actually stands for on a lot of these issues. And let me be clear here, there's some things I disagree with her on, so I'm not saying she's right about everything. I think she just voted for some pro-BDS, or no, anti-BDS thing to stop boycotting of Israel, which, guess what, that's our right to boycott things. That's kind of how our country was founded. Remember the whole tea in the harbor thing? Anyway, side point. But she's also said a lot of very important things about the military-industrial complex. She also fucking destroyed Kamala Harris at the debates, pointing out that her prosecution record in California was fucking revolting, just disgusting. Anyway, so she said very important things, but our tech companies, big tech, and the ruling elite in general do not want her to get any further. She's getting tons of donations. She would be getting higher in the polls, I'm sure, if they were polling people correctly. They've got ways of rigging those polls. For example, the last time around, back in 2016, CNN was only polling people above. I'm confusing things. This was actually this time around. See, for a while, CNN was only polling people older than 50. Older than fucking 50! And look, I'm getting up there. I don't view 50 as that old anymore. But guess what? There's a lot of voters under 50. And they're all going for people like Bernie Sanders because they're not fucking idiots. So they were doing that. Now they've sorted some of that out, but I'm sure they're still rigging these polls against Tulsi Gabbard. Anyway, they're trying to keep her out of the next debates. And here's the deeper problem. These tech platforms and you guys have heard me talk about this in terms of my show, these tech platforms have a massive ability to shape our culture, to not let people see things they don't want them to see, to shut down discussion, and this video right here is going to be suppressed in many ways. On Facebook, on YouTube, they just unsubscribe people on YouTube. On Facebook, I've been capped at 335,000 for the past 2.5 years. And now they're slowly purging people out of my Facebook page, Twitter. So they have their ways. And that's what's happening to Tulsi Gabbard, because they do not want what she's saying about the military-industrial complex to become a national discussion. And we have to, it's on us to move that discussion, to force your friends, your enemies, your fucking everybody. I don't give a shit if it's your grandpa that you fucking hate, your uncle or some shit. We have to move this discussion, sit them down and talk about this stuff. Talk about why we should be at war at all, because we shouldn't. We shouldn't be at war at all. We shouldn't be bombing at all. Instead, we're dropping a bomb every 12 minutes, and it was practically the same under Obama. And, I could call this a tangent in a video about Tulsi Gabbard, but in fact, I think this is the deeper issue. So I brought up this to get to this. And I think we have to keep standing up against these platforms. We have to create platforms that are competitive to them. Some do exist, but they're not, that big so far. I think you got to keep building them. Minds is one of them, but I don't think we should just be like, oh yeah, we have Minds, and just stop building new stuff. I think we need to keep building platforms and keep competing with the ones that are censoring our speech, that are censoring those of us who actually stand for peace. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Anyway, please share this and please subscribe if you're not subscribed. I try and bring out these videos on a regular basis. You can send me topics. You can leave topics in the comment thread. I answer questions once a week on these videos. I go through a bunch of questions. So please leave comments, leave questions. Let's make this an open discussion. And also, I'll be performing live in Los Angeles and Ventura, California in mid-September. The Los Angeles show will almost definitely sell out, probably the Ventura show as well. That's at leecamp.com. You can click the schedule tab and get all the info. Also, Milwaukee, Madison, Wisconsin, and Washington, D.C. We tape Redacted tonight live in Washington, D.C. You can come for free. Come see the show with me. All right, good night, or good day, and keep fighting.